lots and lots of things to cover this week. This week we will be doing experiment 8. I kind of warned you about this one last week. You want to make sure you read over the procedure very carefully. There's a lot of steps to the procedure, and you want to make sure you follow it in the correct order and do it correctly, or not so great things will occur, okay? So make sure you are really aware of the steps that you need to follow. We'll have a quiz in lab this week. You're either going to be, the 7:30 labs are going to open at 7:15 a.m. or the 1 o'clock labs are going to open at 12:45 p.m. this week, and I'll talk about that in a little bit why. But plan on being at lab earlier this week. We've got to get all your glassware in the oven. Do not be late for lab, okay? Because when lab starts, we're going to close the ovens and start heating everyone's glassware. And if you miss that, your glassware won't end up in the oven. So be to lab on time this week, or actually a little bit earlier, okay? This week you should also get your experiment 7 GPC data from your lab prof, because next week your experiment 7 report is due, so you need this data to be able to analyze it for your report. And this week our experiment 6 report sheets and conclusion are due, so make sure you have those ready to go. Next week we'll take experiment 8's product and use it in experiment 11. So this is the lab we're doing. On the syllabus it also says that we've got experiment 10. That experiment explains gas chromatography. So we'll learn what is in experiment 10, but the actual doing, in case you want to get ahead on the pre-lab, is experiment 11, okay? And then, like I said, your experiment 7 report is due. We'll have a quiz number 9 next week. I was going to just spend just a moment to mention a couple things for registration for spring 2020, which next week we will start on top of everything. We'll have people registering for classes, probably even during lab, have people registering for classes. So for second semester organic lab, it is split into 2 pieces, 2 half-semester courses. There's Chem 256A and Chem 256B. Chem 256A is a lot like what you've been doing this semester. It will be more experiments out of your lab manual, and everybody will be doing the same type of experiment. The second half of the semester, Chem 256B, is the independent project portion, and so that is where you will learn how to do library searching for primary literature. You'll learn how to put your project proposal together, and you will then be able to conduct a synthesis of a target compound, what you propose in that proposal. A lot of times the target compounds are out of someone's research, so it is a way to get some experience with someone's research and synthesizing someone else's compound for their research. So depending on what your schedule looks like for next semester, doing the independent project is really helpful for a lot of people. If you're interested in getting the BA in chemistry, it can be that extra lab hour that you need for the BA without having to take, for example, analyte lab or inorganic lab or something like that. Also, it's a way to get experience with literature searching and doing a research project in a short amount of time, kind of a low risk time too, because you're within a course versus doing it within someone's research lab too. So if you are interested in that, I highly recommend that you register. Most of you will need to register for Chem 256A because that's the part you need. But I highly recommend that you also consider registering for Chem 256B for the independent project. Okay. And if you are at all interested, I kind of push you towards registering for it because it helps us understand what are the numbers that are interested in taking the project. So if you have any questions, you can come see me sometime this week or in lab or whatever if you have questions about that. For experiment 7, before we